Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Obsidian. I'm your local shadow work cryptid, and this is Black Dragon Alchemy. I created this corner cave on YouTube so that we can dive into the unknown, dance in the void of our subconscious, and initiate the soul into alchemizing our own rebirth through conscious healing. I hope everybody is having a great day today. I hope it's treating you well and it's going smoothly. I wanted to dive in and do a collective reading today. The energy just seems supercharged right now. So I'm feeling very excited. There's like a new energy that someone has discovered about themselves, and it feels so refreshing. And if this message is for you, I really hope it finds you. I'm tapping into a thread here of someone who is, I think, just realizing how powerful of a manifestor they are, how powerful they are, period. And I feel like this person, particularly if you identify with being a divine feminine, gender is irregardless. This is about the energy. If you resonate with a divine feminine energy, this is definitely very much tapped into the divine feminine. I feel like this is the energy of someone who is just being charged with a lot of creativity and a lot of attractive power, very magnetic. Somebody is discovering that at the end of their pain that they have been feeling, or something very painful they have been experiencing. Somebody could have just gone through an absolute rock bottom situation in their life. And I feel like this is what's on the other side of that for someone. I feel like somebody has actually chosen to dive into their insecurity or dive into maybe past traumas, things that have hurt them. I feel like someone is trying to reconcile their identity. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like someone's trying to make sense of their life and how they came to be the person they found themselves being. Because I don't know if maybe one day you just decided that you didn't like a way you were living, or something you were doing, or somewhere you were living, or a group of people you were involved in, or some sort of structure that you were basing your life and being off of. I feel like this has just absolutely, completely changed. And I feel like whatever it is that you just went through, whatever rock bottom situation that you may have just found yourself coming out of, I think that you are just now understanding how much you control that narrative. I'm not trying to invalidate whatever situation you may have gone through. That's not what I'm doing at all. Everything is different for everybody. We experience different degrees of pain according to how much we need to be shaken awake. Some people really need to be shaken awake, and some people just need a little nudge. It depends on the soul. It depends on you as a human. But I think right now you are starting to understand how powerful you actually are, and maybe how much of that lesson you actually did have control of, even if you felt completely powerless in it. There is a lot of lunar energy here, a lot of feminine energy. Someone could maybe be trying to attract something into their life right now. I do have the numbers 444 and 111 here, and I did already go ahead and look those up because I don't believe in coincidences. 111 is all about new beginnings. It's about rapid manifestation and alignment. It's about your thoughts and intentions heavily amplifying, and then to be focusing on what you truly desire. I also have a focus card here too. So in this particular image, the woman's head is like inside of a bubble, and the bubble is halfway full of water, and the water is reaching up to her eyes, and on her third eye she has a blue monarch butterfly. I don't know if monarch butterflies particularly blue ones, are significant for someone. But this is, to me, speaking on focusing on your transformation, on the change that you're going through, on channeling the pain and turning it into power, focusing your intention and your intuition on where you want to manifest, on where you want to attract abundance into your life. Whatever it is you are focusing on, be it good or bad, this is just maybe a wake-up call if you haven't been in the most positive method of thinking. Sometimes we all need a reminder. Life happens. But wherever your focus is right now, just know it is amplified. So make sure that you're focusing on things you want to attract into your life. 444 is speaking on divine protection, on encouragement and reassurance. Your spirit guides are actively supporting you, and you're on the right path, even if you're facing challenges or uncertainty. So that's why I kind of touched on somebody going maybe through a very hard time recently. If you read my past, or if you watched my past few readings, we did kind of touch on an energy of somebody going through a very hard time, particularly with their family. If that might be you, then I would suggest maybe going and seeing if there's a message in one of those past readings for you. But right now, I think that you are just extremely magnetic to others, and you're attracting a lot of things in your life. You're about to attract a lot of good things into your life as well. So be ready for opportunity. Avoid any extremes that might cause too much stress and negative imbalance on your body. Be mindful of connections that are greater than yourself. This actually has a little positive affirmation on it, something that maybe you can write down and go off of if you would like. It is, I can attract what I wish and repel what I do not. So I think we have the beginnings card here too. I do think that you have just experienced a very challenging time, and you are right on the precipice of experiencing something brand new and refreshing. It's like this particular card has a portal coming from a very snowy environment. And when you go through the portal, it's like springtime. It's like a beautiful meadow. So I think, yes, you're coming from a time of very much maybe isolation or hardship, or maybe even a dark night of the soul. Because when you get to the other side of a dark night of the soul, it is like waking up from a nightmare, is honestly the best the best comparison that I can personally have from it. And I've had probably a handful of dark nights of the soul in my life. I was a stubborn one to wake up. I definitely faced a lot of challenges internally and subconsciously. So when you come out the other side of that, yes, it's like walking through a portal from like being on a desolate mountainside that's just in the middle of the most snowiest snowstorm. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that you can imagine. And when you walk through this portal, you're in a meadow, this beautiful spring. Everything is different. You're no longer alone. You feel like you belong. But right now, you have to focus on the task at hand. You have to focus on where your attention is placed right now. There's no room for scattered approaches right now. Move with intention and take your time. It's like putting blinders on and not listening to anything negative in your environment or negative in people around you, or maybe even your own negative thinking, to kind of catch yourself and bring yourself back to the present, right? But if you do make a mistake, it's your mistake to make. Okay? Don't split your attention into too many places. The affirmation on this is I have a laser-like focus that serves me well. Trust in yourself and trust that whatever hardships that you just came out of were ultimately to help you grow. Nothing happens by chance. And sometimes it takes a long time for us to realize that and really come to terms with grace with that. Because oftentimes, as humans, we're very resistant to things that maybe we know are for our better good, but it might just seem impossible to get around. Or it might seem like it's completely unrealistic and it can never ever happen. But again, that's you holding yourself back. I have the flashover card here. It's all in your head. Yeah, you're overthinking things. Resistance to what is and the circuits of your brain have now confused you into thinking that pain and tension is in the world around you when really it's within. It's all in your head. But the good news is that at the same time, all it takes is just a spark of trust to short circuit resistance and then build up from that resistance within the world. This says, when flashover appears, it's time to close your eyes and take a deep breath and recognize that the only thing that's standing in your way is you. The light of a busy mind can be beautiful, but in order to reveal its best achievements, times of darkness and rest are essential. Yes. Yes. I don't know. Maybe you did go through a dark night of the soul, or maybe you're going through an ego death or an identity death of sorts. Personally, I've experienced all of these things, and they all have their different varying degrees of how far in the hole you feel. A dark night of the soul can honestly feel like depression, and it gets misdiagnosed as such too. But depression looks a little bit differently when you're wearing it on the body. A dark night of the soul is a lot more subconscious. It can look a lot like depression, but it doesn't have a lot of the symptoms that depression does. Now, an ego death is it's very close to an identity death because the ego is a part of our identity. We have many parts of ourself. We have our first self, right? The one we show to the world. We have our ego. And then we have like our authentic self, right? We have who we are at home. We have the self behind the self too, the observer, the one who watches everything. But who is also watching that self? We go deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is the thing that you start to understand when you're having a dark night of the soul, is because you're diving into trauma now. You're going so deep, it's like you're going below the trauma, because that's ultimately where the healing is. It can be scary. And a lot of people can fall into very negative, toxic patterns. Some people can fall into addiction. Some people can fall into, feeling maybe oppressive to others because their grip and control is slipping. It looks different on everyone. But you have to go into the darkness to see the stars, right? You can't see stars without darkness. And how beautiful are stars. Let go of your worries and fears without reservation. Let the world balance itself around you. You cannot control your external environment. You can only control what's going on inside of you. And I think you can't keep going this way. And there's a certain, I don't want to say a giving up, but a surrender inside of that. When you know that you can't keep going on this way, that's when you hit surrender. And it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, we have the translucence card here too. 33, 333 could be significant for someone too. This says, love the darkness. Of course it does. It's a girl riding on a crow. Crows could be significant for someone. Crows are also indicative of transformation. the void, communication from the other side, as some would say. My goodness, I'm just going to read this from the guidebook because this is too spot on. It's time to enter the underworld. You've been existing on the superficial plane for too long, and balance is required. Be like the goddess Persephone, who descended into the underworld. In the patriarchal myth, it is said she was stolen by Hades, but this is not true. She went there willingly, and then she also willingly went back to the upper world. 6 months in the upper world, 6 months in the underworld. It was all by choice. So again, relating back to this, you chose to dive deep into this. And the best thing that you can do is honor yourself in the process. I'm sorry, my cat is right next to me. If you hear her in the background, she's feeling awfully chatty. So, yeah. Wow. This says it is like the Fool of the traditional tarot deck. So again, just like the last card said in Flashover, it's all in your head. Surrender. Surrender and let yourself fall. You cannot hang on to the things you cannot control. And like I said before, there is something so liberating in that because that's one less thing that you have to worry about, right? That's one less thing you feel like you have to spend energy on. Let go. It's time to redefine your own parameters of anything, belief, action, love. Redefine your own parameters of what it is to be human. Protect your sanctuary. Protect your body. Protect your mind. Feathers could be relevant for someone too. Fall in love with the darkness. Yes. This is such a beautiful energy for someone. And I know it can feel like the absolute pits, but as someone who has been through it, I'm going to promise you everything is going to be okay. Now, I'm also on that same note going to say, if you need to seek help, please find the proper channels. Go seek a therapist. Go talk to someone. Go, whatever it is that you need to do, please don't solely rely on tarot readings. They can help, but if you're really having a problem, please, I would always say, I'm not a medical professional. Please go seek medical advice if this is something you're really struggling with. But if this is something that you find is actually in your head, and I'm hearing the word metacognition. Someone could be very aware of their own feelings here and they don't really need a therapist. If you do, please go. But if you don't and you're well aware, that's a very tough spot to be, but it's also a very amazing place to be. Because when you are aware that the only thing that you can do is surrender to the things you cannot control and focus on your own inner world, on your own transformation, on how your outer world reflects based off of what's within, you give so much power back to yourself. I'm getting some imbalanced root chakra energy here too. Someone could need to maybe be working on their root chakra, maybe go take a walk outside barefoot, go sit in the grass, or go sit on a beach. I think you're getting to the point right now where you are getting, or you are aware, at least it's in your awareness, that you need to start merging yourself into the essence of oneness and acceptance. We have the Samadhi card here. Samadhi is all about perfect acceptance. It teaches you that when you give up being a perfectionist, all of a sudden life is suddenly perfect. And perfection is objective. It looks different for everybody. But if you can consider that your life in this moment is purely a reflection of your consciousness, then everything is exactly where it needs to be. It's all the same as it was yesterday, but it's your attitude that's shifted. It's your perception that's shifted. And if this is for better or worse, what you resist persists. Where your energy goes, attention flows. But with the Samadhi card, there is no quote better or quote worse. Everything just is. It is a beautiful place to just be inside of surrender, inside of releasing resistance. And that can look different for everybody too. When you start to let go, it can look like whatever has been repressing you. You can laugh, you can cry, you can be angry. It looks different, but you have to allow yourself to feel that and let it go. Let the emotion go. Emotion is energy in motion. And if you repress an emotion, you're repressing that energy from motioning outside of your body, and it's going to stay, it's going to fester, and it's going to turn into something. It's like I'm seeing a very, very like a gangrenous festering wound in my mind right now. Yeah, you don't want to let that happen and just let time pass and continue to ignore it when whatever this is has been continuously bringing itself about in your life, maybe in many different kinds of ways, or now maybe it's reflecting in your body, autoimmune disorders, pains, joint inflammation, gastrointestinal issues, chest pains, headaches, backaches, again, imbalanced root chakras. When you accept everyone and everything and every situation for being what it is, then there is nothing left to resist. There is just being. And I think that maybe this is the place in which you are striving to go to right now. It can be a bumpy road, and healing is not linear. It does not go into a straight line. It is a spiral. You know, you may come back to a wound again in the future, or a situation might, represent itself back in your life, but you're never in the same place you were with it twice. And the more times that happens, the easier it's going to be for you to start closing that door and stop overthinking it, stop hanging on to it. And then you start to see that actually there was value and wisdom and healing and maybe even love in that situation at a certain point. And it might take a long time to get there. You might not ever really see the love in it, and that's okay. But if you can see the purpose in the pain and then harvest power from that pain, that's where the healing is. When you can approach somebody that hurt you, who did you so wrong, and you can approach that person and now you can be in the same room as them, and you don't have to talk to them. Or even if you do talk to them, it's not the same as what it used to be. You have grown, you have moved on, but it starts with accepting. And for whoever this is, if you are really just now diving into the whole underworld energy, Persephone could really resonate for somebody here. It's when you get to a certain point in your healing journey that you can actually harness that darkness and let it wears differently on your whole being. You know, instead of it wearing like scars and tatters and pain, you now wear this darkness like silk, if that makes any sense. It suits you now because you've made friends with it. And now you can use that to attract things, to really harness that power and embody your sovereignty. Again, that divine feminine energy of creation from within, from nothing, from the darkness, the depths, from maybe even pain. Persephone was a powerful goddess, but she had to go through a lot of darkness and a lot of pain in order for her to fully embody her power as not only goddess of spring, but also the queen of the darkness, goddess of the underworld. It is harnessing both opposites to synergistically work together. And when they do work together, there is a magnetism that is created, and that is perfect ground for manifesting. The important thing is focusing and harnessing that power and not allowing the outside world or outside influences dampen that focus. Because remember, we live in an illusion, in a hologram anyway. Nothing is innately ours. Everything is an experience. Things are just happening, right? It's hard to wrap a third dimensional mind around that, but things truly are just happening. We incarnated onto a planet in a plane of existence in a dimension that is solid. It's vibrating at such a rate, it seems solid. It seems tangible, but nothing really is. It's very Matrix-like. And this is a very funny, I am very clear cognizant. And things just pop into my head, and this is a very niche message for somebody. But I don't know if someone is a Game of Thrones fan here, but I have the Graveyard card and I have the Grim Reaper card here, and all I'm hearing is, what is dead may never die. I don't know. I don't know. I just had to put that out there. What is dead may never die. And I was a Game of Thrones fan, and that was a great line. But this is, and it definitely touches, things, even as Eckhart Tolle once said, the secret is to die before you die. So that way you realize there is no death. The idea of death is only an illusion. We literally go from one realm to another. But the thing is to die before you die here in your consciousness, so that you don't hang on. There is no attachments here. You let the old attachments die. You find closure, you find grace. And then where the shadows converge, souls come to like merge. I don't know. Where you think existence stops is just the beginning. And I think you are getting to a point in your own healing journey that you're understanding this. So I really hope that this message did reach who it needed to reach, because this was a bit of a convoluted one. It was a little bit of a long one. I thank you for sticking with me throughout it. If this did resonate with you, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear of your thoughts or stories or where you are in this journey. So if you would like to as well, please hit the subscribe button. I don't quite know a posting schedule yet. I know I'm still a fairly new channel, trying to get myself out there. I felt like I had to start this because I wanted to create a space for people to come together who were going through this very dark and transformative time, who's in this liminal space right now, who, you know, you don't quite know what to think. Maybe you don't quite know what reality is. Sometimes along this journey, we take a lot of twists and turns, and, religion can get convoluted. Structures of reality can get convoluted. Thoughts of yourself can get a little twisted. And I wanted to create a space for people to come together here because, in my experience, I haven't really found a place for people to come together and share that. So if you did happen to find my channel, thank you so much for staying with me. I really do appreciate your time. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next reading.